been dying to tell you.
Can you hear that difference? There's less of this D-nasal type of resonance in the 2015 performance. He's much more focused, clear, and clean.
Run, run, lost boy, they say to me.
It's really crazy how, like, it feels like this came out yesterday, but now I'm looking at it and I can't believe how old it is. It dates me so bad. Alright, so now let's hear them 10 years later singing the same song live. Let's see how his approach changes. So the main things that we're going to be listening for is any changes in his ability to sing the different phrases and keep it going, how his stamina has kept up over time. So this is a 10-year period. It's a long time. Alright, so you can hear kind of his pronunciation is a little bit mumbled through, but looking at that first line, he came in nice and soft, and then on more, leaned in. Am I, a little bit lighter, am I more than you bargained for yet? He's leaning in on more, and then he's kind of like slurring the words a little bit, like if you would imagine singing it while you were drunk. I've been dying to tell you anything. Like, it's not even like very clear what he's saying. It took me a long time to figure out exactly word for word what he's saying in the song. I had to read through the lyrics. But he has that kind of drunken, slurred approach.
Am I more than you bargained for? Yeah, I've been dying to tell you anything you want to hear. That's just who I am this week.
So first off, a massive difference between his 2005 performance and 2015 performance in his use of resonance. So let's quickly take a listen back to 2005. This is what he sounded like then.
Am I more than you bargained for? Yeah, I've been dying to tell you.
And this is him in 2015.
Am I more than you bargained for? Yeah, I've been dying to tell you.
Can you hear that difference? There's less of this D-nasal type of resonance in the 2015 performance. He's much more focused, clear, and clean with his nasal resonance coming through very clearly. The 2015 approach is much healthier in the long run, and I think that that's why he's developed it.
Not to your purpose, but should have been light as song.
And so on some of the vowels, he has a little bit of a D-nasal sound. So if, like, there's two different types of nasality, something you may not have known. But there's nasality where you're overusing your nose and like there's too much sound coming through the nose and you're not using enough of your mouth. And then there's a type of sound that's like very congested and it's nothing coming up above the soft palate. There's nothing coming through my nose. So this we also call nasal. So both of them are considered like nasally sounding, right? A lot of people would describe this as the nasal. Oh man, it sounds like it's all stuck in my nose type of thing. But really it's denasal because there's no resonance. There's no vibration because your nose is stuffed when you're sick. So that's why we relate that to when we are sick. But just looking at that, he has a little bit of that on some of the vowels. So let's pick out a few of the vowels that he uses this denasal type of sound. So line in the song, right? So he uses a lot of that type of resonance that cuts off the sound on line. Instead of, you're just a line in a song, finding that line in a song, you would be able to find much more of that cut in his voice. But he's using a lot of this type of resonance.
Not to your bedpost, you're just a line in a song.
Another thing I want to draw your attention to is his diction. His articulation has improved significantly from that first performance. So here is that line in 2005.
Not to your bedpost, but you're just a line in a song.
Now here's 2015.
Not to your bedpost, you're just a line in a song.
You can hear how much clearer he's speaking as he's doing it. It's not as drunken type of slurred through. It's much more clear and crisp. All right, and so now in the chorus, he doesn't have any of that D nasal sound. Now he's got good balance between his nasality and his mouth resonance.
I'll be a number one with a bullet. Loaded got complex talking.
And you can also hear how he's not overdriving on the chorus as much as he was. So this is him in 2005. And then here again in 2015.
We're going downtown in an early around. Sugar hoops going down swinging.
Massive difference. He's able to still get the same power without the same push and force. That's what we're after when we're singing.
Is this more than you believe?
Okay, so there we had a little bit of a false start there. Maybe got taken off guard by having the bassist come up behind him. That could definitely be a factor. But just slipped up on that line right there.
Wishing to be the friction in your dreams. Isn't this messed up? How I'm just dying to be here.
Do you notice how he has so much more freedom to be able to riff, to be able to play around with the melody? He seems so much more relaxed, less in his head when he's singing this in 2015 than in 2005. There's just an ease about it.
Trouble.
That's a great example.
Not to your bad pals, but you're just a light in a song.
So there you can hear less of that D nasal type of sound. You're just a line in a song. He found a little bit more of that line, a little bit more of that.
We're always slipping and slipping for the wrong team.
All right, so there it sounded like his larynx jumped up a little bit on him. And when it jumped up, it didn't quite crack, but there was the shift, a sudden shift from a neutral to low larynx to then it coming up way too high, right on sleeping. I think that's the word. Sleeping, slipping, not sure. So if you guys are noticing that might happen in your songs when you're singing them, and you're kind of like getting this on the higher notes, your larynx just keeps popping up on you. We're always sleeping in. It feels like it's like popping up on you. What I want you to try to do is think a little bit more of like a hooty owl as you go up to that top note. Whoo, whoo. Can you do that for me? Can you go, whoo? So that hooty owl allows you to find a little bit of a lower larynx and relaxation in the extrinsic muscles of the throat. So you can find a little bit more of like a, we're always sleeping in, sleep, a little bit more of that type of sound underneath it. Ooh, underneath it. Hope that makes sense.
Loaded got complex talking and pulling. We're going downtown in an early round.
And if you notice this last part, let's juxtapose it to the 2005 performance. Here's him doing kind of those back-to-back choruses in 2005.
Loaded got complex talking and pulling. We're going downtown in an early round. Sugar, we're going down, sugar.
Here's him in 2015 doing the same choruses.
Loaded got complex talking and pulling. We're going downtown in an early round.
You notice he's not as out of breath. He's not as like taxed in the second one. You can hear how he's still right on top of the pitches. He's not falling down and kind of losing that stamina.
We're going downtown in an early round. Sugar, we're going down, sugar.
It also sounds like he's pushing a little bit harder now, midway through the song, than he was at the beginning. So I think he could easily back off a little bit on that gas pedal and still have it come out just as nicely without the excess strain on that.
You're number one with a bullet. Loaded got complex, cocking bullet. We're going down in an early round. Sugar, we're going down, swinging.
This is a really tough song to sing because all this part is sitting right in that like F G area of his voice, which is right around his bridge, like the really hard spot to be singing in consistently. And so you could hear now he's starting to tire a little bit. It's starting to fall down in pitch a bit, and it's starting to strain a little bit as well. By the way, if you guys are interested in learning how to sing, learning a little bit more detail, check out this card right here that I'm going to leave. There you can get a free lesson on my website. Check it out.
Loaded got complex, cock it and pull it. We're going downtown in an early round. Sugar, we're going down, swinging. Number one with a bullet.
Nice. He's playing a lot with the melody, and I really like that, how he's become so comfortable with it that he's able to play around with it and not stay so structured to the way he originally did it. And also, it doesn't seem like he's driving as hard on his vocal cords as he did in the first performance. And I think that that is in large part due to the fact that he's able to find much clearer diction and able to find a lot more of that nasal resonance and not being as denasal. Alright, so to be able to find those upper notes, he's now having to overdrive and push harder to be able to make it. That is a hard place to be singing in your voice. Like, how many choruses has he gone through in the end? Like, it is really taxing to be right there in your bridge area. Those lower belt notes are some of the most difficult to be singing on. Definitely out of breath here, like he's pushing it hard. And it's very hard when you're in a live performance, and maybe some of you have experienced this, but when you're in a live performance and you notice you are pushing very hard, it's very hard to just like take a step back within the midst of a song and like chill out a little bit. It's almost like this snowball that just gets away from you. And unless you have a spot in the song where it's like a breakdown where you can like back off of the vocal, it's very hard to find that relaxation in there. But kept it together very well. Great job. So if you like this video, please check out this one. You're gonna like it too.